Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, come in again today. You're very, very welcome. How great to see everybody here. Now, I trust you enjoyed my last little, mini series on Julie Andrews. Of course, you've got to look at Mary Poppins, and you've got to look at The Sound of Music. You can't do a series like this one without looking at both of those shows in their own rights. And it's good to have Julie Andrews take us through that series. Well, we're going on to another mini series today. This guy is an absolute genius in a very, very strange but powerful medium of puppets. So we've got to look at this guy a little bit today, and because of this two very, very important shows that this guy's been part of, this is going to be a 4-part series. I didn't think I was going to do 4 parts for this guy, but you cannot look at Jim Henson, who we're looking at today, without looking at his early career, without looking at Sesame Street, without looking at the Muppet Show, and without looking at post-Muppet Show. So we are going to look at Jim Henson over the next 4 videos. So trust you'll hang with me as I look at this absolute genius of puppetry. Now, Jim Henson was actually born in 1936 in Greenville, Mississippi. And it was in high school that he started to dabble with this medium of puppets. But it was a bit of tragedy where his older brother did die in a car crash, which would have informed Jim Henson a little bit, certainly around not taking life for granted and being able to really go with life and make the most of it. And why not just bring the whole world along with you at the same time, which is well and truly what Jim Henson has done through some of the iconic characters he's created. He was dabbling in puppets in high school, and it was around the age of 17 that he actually was engaged by WTOP TV to bring some of these puppets to a Saturday morning show. But we see some character development, certainly when he moved to WRC TV in around 1961, that he started to create the show Sam and Friends. And here we see an early Kermit the Frog. Now, we do know that Kermit is well and truly part of not just the Muppets and Sesame Street, but the world. And I will be looking at Kermit when we get to Kay a little bit more with It's Not Easy Being Green. It's an absolutely stunningly beautiful song, that one that we'll look at a little bit later. But here we see an early Kermit the Frog. Now, Jim Henson believed that we've got to use the TV lens to really, really engage with the audience, because we don't want to just have these puppets doing what they do in front of the camera. We need the characters to actually come to life a little bit, and Jim Henson well and truly was able to do that, because when you watched him, you really started to see the brilliance of him, the way that the characters were more than just puppets. They were actually part of our life, a part of who we are. We really thought these people were real, when in fact they weren't, but they did seem real. But Kermit the Frog was created with half a tennis ball and just an old coat from Mother. So we've got a TV clip of very, very early Sam and Friends with Kermit the Frog. Jim Henson was starting to get a bit of a following at this point, and he started to get involved in commercials and TV shows and talk shows. There's nothing like a puppet to actually bring your product to life, and Wilkins Coffee were well and truly part of that. We've got a TV commercial from Wilkins Coffee there for you as well. It was around 1963 he moved to New York City and established Muppets Inc. Now, Muppets is a cross between marionettes, which is of course the high-flying kind of intricate strings sort of puppets, and then we've got the hand puppets as well. So Muppets Incorporated was established around 1963, and here he met Frank Oz. Now, Frank and and Jim would have a very, very long partnership and friendship and part of both Sesame Street and the Muppets show. So all the way back in 1963, these two got together. And some iconic partnerships including Bert and Ernie and Kermit and Miss Piggy and Kermit and Rowlf the dog. And so Frank Oz and Jim Henson would well and truly create a partnership from them that time onwards. It was around around that time too that Jimmy Dean reached out to Jim and said, "Hey, look, I want you to do stuff with me." And Jimmy Dean created Rowlf the dog. Now the show created Rowlf the dog. We've got a pretty cool TV clip here of Rowlf being in prison. Just see the interaction really that exists between the two. So we've got a TV clip from that one. He was also, there's another TV show, Munchos, and here we see a very, very early Cookie Monster characters. You see that before Sesame Street started, these characters well and truly taking life. We've got Rowlf the dog, we've got the Cookie Monster, and we've got the iconic Kermit the Frog. So we've got a TV clip of that one below, of Rowlf the dog and the TV Jimmy Dean show. And we've got a clip of Munchos with Cookie Monster. It's around 1965 also that Jim Henson started to dabble in film. And we've got a clip from Timepiece, which got nominated for a film short for the Academy Awards that year. So we've got a bit of a clip here. There's a lot going on in this particular clip. And, you know, it just jumps from one thing to another. This shows the genius and the chaoticness of Jim Henson, the way he was able to actually just create life, but take it to the absolute extreme. So we've got a movie clip there for you of some elements of Timepiece. Well, I was going to keep going at this point. So hang on, and we'll get into Sesame Street. So no. Sesame Street is just too important. Children's Television Workshop, of course, are already part of this show. To actually do Sesame Street, it really needs to be done in its own right. So we're going to head on to Sesame Street next time. So the 5 clips are in the description below, and I've also included my last video from Julie Andrews and Sound of Music. Of course, Sound of Music came out in 1965 as well, and so we've got a bit of a 1960s era thing going on here. So the 5 clips are in the description below, and I've also included my last video from the Sound of Music. If you want to recap on that one, feel free. Well, if this is your first time to Live Reflections Your Music, or you've come back for another one, how great to see everybody here. Well, that's it for today. As I've said, we are going to go on to Sesame Street next time. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.